Amy, can you hear us? We've just got a couple other people coming in, so it'll only be just a moment. Amy? Yes. Can you put in the chat whether or not you can hear us? All right. We'll see. All righty.
Are you still muted?
I'm not muted anymore. So here's our group. Everybody say, hey, hey. So I don't know if you want the webcam focused on you or them. We're going to share screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do, yes, she can hear. Wonderful. Okay. And so for this is a little different because we're not on campus, right? Share screen, share. And then let me see. Let me check online. Okay.
That's why I chose this.
And then I'll tuck that out of the way. Yep, you are sharing. Let me do this. Gotta love Stockton, right? Wonderful. Yep. Okay.
All right. No, we're going to use that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, thank you everybody for coming. This is a lot of people in comparison, so this is good. Our goal this year was definitely to get more people to come in person, so this is definitely a good start. Two things. This is our new location for the year. So those of you that have been coming, we've been at Stockton's main campus. We're now going to be in this building for all of our meetings this calendar year.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank me.
Whoever did that.
We have, do you want to do introductions?
Well, actually, yeah, let's do that because we do have a couple of people here who have not been here before.
So we have a lot of new people. Just a couple things. One, we do ask that you sign up if you have not already for the free CSTA membership. That will help with us keep track of our membership, as well as that's information that the national organization uses. That always helps out when we apply for different funding for different events and different things. It's good to see that we have good representation and good participation level in the national membership. So if you don't have a membership yet, it is free. Just shoot us an email. You can shoot myself or Michelle an email with your membership number, and then we'll put that in our records because that information's there.
Yep. So that big link at the bottom, that takes you directly to the membership page. So those of you that are new here tonight or have not registered since they updated their website, which was in the last year and a half, we do have to actually kind of like register each year. So I do have a bunch of Chromebooks in the back that we'll be using both for our activities, and hopefully people will take advantage of their time here to actually just complete that little piece so that we look like we're doing our job. Thank you.
All right, so I guess on introduction, there are a lot of people here, so we want to just go around the room.
I'm Michelle Wendt, Chapter Secretary, Technology Integration Specialist here at the SRI and EPTC, and I run the makerspace here. So later on when we have a break, if anybody wants to go visit that and look at it, if you've not been in, I've got some MVPs in the room who've definitely been here for the makerspace, and a lot of other workshops and stuff. Adam is our president.
All right,
So I'll let him tell you who he is.
I'm Adam Swift. I'm the president of our chapter. What else? I teach computer science at Egg Harbor Township High School. I also am a co-facilitator. I do teacher training for code.org. So I train teachers on how to use code.org's curriculum, their approach, their philosophy, as well as like what's the curriculum all about. I've adjuncted at Stockton. I'm working with Rowan right now to develop an online course. So I guess I'm dabbling a little bit of everything.
My name is Rama. I teach computer programming online. I have my own website online. I am a STEM enthusiast. I like programming. And currently, my role is Vice President of our chapter.
My name is Carmelita Graham. I am a supervisor of career and technical programs at EHT, overseeing computer science, business, and all the career programs. I'm Joanne Halper-Cheryl. I'm also supervisor of the CTE department and also the instructional technology of Bogle.
I'm John Livesey. I moved out of the area. I actually live up in Pennsylvania, but I adjuncting Atlantic Cape right now. I work with some districts up in Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Abby Lar. I teach computer science at Abscami High School. I'm pregnant and I forget like everything while I'm talking. So I teach AP computer science principles and I teach an intro course there as well. We have like a magnet program, all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, I'm just 5, 7.
I'm Mike Pullman, the integrated technology teacher and financial literacy teacher at Fernwood Middle School.
I'm Marianne Cassidy. At Fernwood Avenue Middle School as well. I teach coding to 7th and 8th graders and computer principles to 6th graders.
Hi, I'm Megan Hollinger. I recently became the ELA tech integration teacher over at the Hess School. I'm there through February, learning on this. And apparently by February I have to switch to coding, which I need to learn before that.
You'll be fine.
This is your
You have to stay one day ahead of them. That's all it takes.
Right.
I'm Deepa McCabe, and I am the computer science teacher at the William D. Middle School in Hamilton Township. And I'm also trying to stay one day ahead of my 8th graders right now because in the past I had kids once a week for the whole year, and this year I have my 8th graders every day for 150 days of the school year. So it's far more in depth than I'm used to having to teach on middle school level. So.
Awesome.
Cheryl Rasmussen. I am a technology teacher at Vineland High School. And I'm Kathy DeMarco. I'm a technology graphic design teacher.
I'm a business teacher at Egg Harbor Township High School.
I'm Jessica Fairchild, technology integration, excuse me, and personal financial business at
I'm Tony DePietro. I'm a former business and technology teacher. Just here to say hi to everyone. And I feel your pain.
Hi, I'm Megan Bramble. I'm a media specialist at elementary number 2 in Middle Township. I just need to learn some new stuff. So.
I'm Regina Nielsen, and I'm a STEAM teacher at Frog Pond Elementary School, and I teach financial literacy to 6th graders.
Laura Haggerty, Associate Director of Tech Innovation here at SRI and ETTC. Before this, I was middle school computers and math and instructional technology coordinator and tech.
Well, welcome everyone. We have a quality mix of people. One thing that we'll ask of you is if you have specific things that you want us to have at a meeting, let us know. Like we sometimes run out of ideas. We're like, I don't know, what are we gonna do? Right, so we have middle school teachers, high school teachers, tech integration teachers, whatever we can do to support, like, hey, can you guys get information about this? Either we'll do some research on our own, we'll reach out to somebody else who's around that does it. If you have something that you do really well or you think's really neat and want to share it, and if you're like, I don't do it that well, but I find it really neat, you can do that as well. I think just the more ideas, the better. So like I teach high school, I have a tendency to focus on all the high school stuff because that's what I'm looking at all the time. But then I feel like there's middle school teachers that are like, all right, great. What about my kids? So if you come across anything, please just reach out.
Also, if you have some game in any area, we definitely source from our own group for our presentations and PD.
Awesome.
So if you have anything to share, you feel like we would love to hear it, please let us know.
All right, so here's the officer team for this year currently. So we got our president, vice president, secretary. Our treasurer was Karen last year.
We are looking for a treasurer. Karen has not yet indicated whether or not she's willing to serve again. So if anybody is interested in that position, please let us know. Right now, there is no money to treasure. We're still waiting for our national to be approved by the IRS for each one of our chapters to have that nonprofit status under their umbrella. So we've just been asked to be in a holding pattern. There is no money to treasure, so being a treasurer, everybody needs that on their
Is a
resume.
title.
Right now, it doesn't require any real work. But in the future, we can't make promises because it's the same. Move on.
All right. So we're going to start out this meeting. First thing is we're talking about some free standard-based curriculum for grades 9 to 12. So this is going to be all high school things. This could pertain to high school teachers. So those of you that are new, at our meetings, we like to kind of do some kind of either show and tell or introduce you to something. So we got two things going on. Michelle's going to do things with LittleBits that everybody's probably going to find more interesting and more engaging and hands-on, and I think everybody gets one. So her part is obviously more entertaining. But we do think these are important things to throw out there so that you are aware of them. I'm going to just walk through some free curriculums that are out there for computer science. They're all 9 to 12. Depending on your students, you may be able to introduce some of this at the middle school level. Grab a piece from it. Oh, I like that lesson. That seems neat, or that one seems cool. I'll try that. So here we go. First of all, at the high school level, there's two main computer science classes. There's the computer science principles course, which is the newer of the AP. Its focus is on introducing kids to computer science and like what is it all about. And it's not just about sitting behind a computer screen and coding all the time. So first we'll look at that. Code.org's got a pretty awesome curriculum. Full disclosure, like I said, I do training with them. But very good stuff. I actually use this myself. They have 5 units, the way they've broken it up, and 2 prep units for the performance tasks, which are part of the AP tasks, but they break their curriculum up. The first unit is all about the internet. So students kind of take the look at how was the internet developed and what things did the creators of the internet have to think about that we just take for granted. So it may start out with something simple as like, what's a binary message, like, or question, yes or no? And then how do you communicate that to somebody? Then it kind of builds on there. Okay, you can send one message. How does the person know to read it? How does it get where it needs to go? So it goes in IP addresses. And then like, all right, well, when you put it out there on the internet, what if everybody can see it? Like, that'd be pretty terrible, right? Like your boss sees every email you send. So those are the kind of things we talk about, or they cover in the internet unit. It's an unplugged activity that demonstrates the concept. So they're off the computer, and then they use a tool built right into Code.org's curriculum that simulates communicating on the internet. So it's all web-based, but it would be like I was having a conversation with Dr. Graham, and we just connect it, and within that website, we can send our communication back and forth and go through the challenges of, okay, how do we do this? And like I said, it builds into like, okay, binary, and then the ASCII system, and kind of just scaffolds up so they ultimately have an understanding. Unit 2 is into digital information. Computers store things digitally. How do you take zeros and ones? How do you create an image from zeros and ones and metadata? And what about colors and RGB values? And once again, unplugged activity off the computer. Then they use a tool on the computer. So it's engaging that way. Then they jump into Unit 3, which is an introduction to programming. Code.org's website has an awesome feature where the students can toggle between block-based coding and JavaScript. So right on the website, they're creating their app, they're coding with blocks, and they're like, okay, this is too easy for me. They click a little thing, it changes it to JavaScript, and they get to type JavaScript. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I need to go back to blocks. They can toggle back to the blocks, and it just keeps on building. Or they could program in blocks, toggle over to JavaScript, and see what that would look like. So that's unit 3. Unit 4 gets into big data and privacy. So like all the information that's out there, this is one that I think scares the heck out of the high school students when they actually think about it for a minute. The amount of information they're putting out there, all the stuff, we just started talking about this in my class, like all those, oh yeah, terms agreement, sure, you can do whatever you want because it's free, I don't care. They don't read them. And then I tell them some of the stuff that's happening with that information. They're selling your information to places, right? The place that you're agreeing to use your information may have good security. There's nothing about where they're selling it to having good security in there. Like, oh, wait a minute. So lots of conversations about big data and privacy, things that conclusions you can draw, assumptions that are made, how you can tell stories with data, how these may be accurate, they may be inaccurate. So that starts to spark their interest, lots of present current events. It does go into like simple encryption techniques, so not nitty gritty, but high enough level that they see, oh, I get the general concept. And then they get to kind of work through that. And then there's a building apps unit, which is also right on code.org's website. So they can go right into what code.org calls App Lab. They have their like emulator right on the screen. They can code in JavaScript and blocks, and then they can see it run on the emulator. They're also able to share their code and download it onto their phones, which is pretty instant. So it's pretty neat. Other things about code.org, they have lesson plans for every single lesson in their curriculum. And by lesson plans, I mean, here's the objective. Here's the prompt you say when the students walk in the classroom. While discussing this, make sure you pull this, this, and this out of your students in this discussion. So those of you that are one day ahead, if it's high school, code.org is a fantastic curriculum because it's right there. It talks, all right, here's your closure, 5 minutes, ask them this question, let them write about them, ask them this question, so forth. So code.org kind of lays that all out there.
And there's one for middle school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is curriculum, it's the discoveries, right? So yes, discoveries, which I'm not real familiar with, but I imagine follows the same pattern.
It is somewhat the same.
As far as like what's available.
Yeah, it's got unplugged and unplugged activities, the ability to toggle back and forth. It's really
Yeah,
nice.
you do the app as well.
Mhm.
And there's an
HTML.
accelerated, like for my rotation kids, there's an accelerated one for middle school that I use for the kids I don't see for, I only have them 30 days, so. And then the kids I have all year.
And they also have fundamentals for the younger students. So plus tons of hour code activities and things. Just a wonderful curriculum.
Like I said, very detailed, especially if you're new to computer science.
So I have a question. I was
Okay.
just having a conversation with one of the middle school technology teachers not here tonight, but we were talking about just this because the way our in Egg Harbor Township it works now, the students get a choice. So their first year, they have one out of 3 choices: robotics, coding, or entrepreneurship. And then the second year, some of them still get their first choice, but it may not be that course that they want to take. So sometimes we get students in coding that are not necessarily the ones that want to be programmers or truly interested in it. So she's finding some disconnect with students like doing the practical. So I thought, maybe do some unplugged with them for them to understand how it's being done. Is that the philosophy of code.org? I wonder if that's their philosophy because it's not everybody's a programmer or truly interested in programming.
They do relate it to everyday life. I'd have to say for the discovery units, there's plenty of stuff and plenty of choices that the teachers can make in the curriculum, which lessons they want to use and which ones they can, decide not to use.
Right.
So there's a lot of, I thought it was super engaging and that it spoke to more of the students' interest than I expected. So I don't know.
But does it help those kids that are not like truly?
You're always going to have that.
With apps, they had to design like teacups. You had to think about teacups and then think about chairs. And so I would say It is, yeah, I'd say it is.
And then for the high school curriculum, like Unit 1 has absolutely no programming in it. Unit 2 has absolutely no programming. Unit 4 has got absolutely no, it's completely self-sufficient of programming.
So it's the middle school's the same way you can.
Like only this unit is programming. Only this unit is programming. And it's all visual on code.org too. So it's not really like, think of Java class, like lots of text based and they type lines of text and usually it's text output and kids are like, yeah, not for me.
Another
Help
thing
me
that
out.
was really cool about the middle school curriculum was the pair programming. So that's kind of nice where they pair up and they take turns. And so that's a little more engaging than just always being in your own little silo. So I feel like I thought that that was a great opportunity to mix your students up a little bit and get them to work with each other.
So you pick like the creative student, the programming student. All right, what should this look like? What do you want this app to look like? Have the creative student work with the programming, the programmer.
And the dashboard does,
like
like, they're both paired to each other in the dashboard. So they both do get credit for their work. You can, you know, so in terms of teacher management, make sure that everybody's doing
Yeah, the
something.
dashboard, the teacher dashboard is great.
Yeah.
You can really see who did what, who made mistakes.
So the teacher tools, so you know, those dashboard, you just go and you can look and it brings up all your students and it shows every lesson and then it has bubbles for each one, each step along the lesson, and it has it filled with a different color. Like I forget the colors option, but purple might be like attempted but incorrect. Greens got it, and clear means they haven't done it yet.
But the discussion in terms of what you're supposed to pull out of your students, each one does have some kind of discussion to it too. So that I felt like that was a little more lively, you know, than you would think.
All right, another free base curriculum from 9 to 12, which would also go with CSP, is Mobile CSP, which uses App Inventor. Is anybody familiar with App Inventor? This covers the same stuff as the other curriculum. Mobile CSP is a little different. I don't use it. I'm not an expert, but I can tell you this much. Programming is intertwined throughout every unit in Mobile CSP. So if you're using this and you're having that concern of separating programming out on some level, Mobile CSP intertwines all of that. So like Unit 1, I'm getting started, preview and setup, but like introduction to apps and programming, obviously involves programming, creating graphics and images. There's programming within that unit. That's where it's a little different than the code.org one. Code.org one has different units, non-programming units, programming units. Mobile CSP intertwines it all together using App Inventor to develop apps. App Inventor is free and it's also online. There's an emulator that you can put on your screen and they can see their apps running on the emulator. There is training, there is code.org training. You'll get an email blast about that probably within a month or so. And there's also mobile CSP training in the state. I know that's usually at Keene University. A third option for CSP is this Beauty and Joy of Computing. It uses Snap and it's block-based programming. It ties a lot to Blown to Bits. Has anybody ever heard of that? Read it?
I've never heard of Blown to Bits, but Snap is the same as Scratch, except
It's a very good book. It's free.
All right, so Snap, all right, we got two things. Snap is very similar to Scratch, but it's blocks, but you do pretty intensive stuff. This stuff was developed through Cal Berkeley, is where this curriculum's from. Blown to Bits, Raman, you wanna?
Yeah, blown to books, like he was talking about all this internet security, cyber crimes. So you get to know what kind of a environment this internet is all about. So there are case studies, how can you do, a girl is lost and how you can use the mobile phone data to know, or our digital footprints are everywhere. So blown to bits, the bits is the digital footprint. So how you could kind of use that digital footprints to practically do anything you want. What we talk about big data, the analytics.
It gives you a bunch of like real things.
Yeah.
The book is free, it's online, but it gives you like real, like this girl was lost. They could not find her, but because of her Fitbit, And the data that the Fitbit was collecting, which was pushed into her phone, they were ultimately able to find somebody. Like, so it gives you quality, it gives students perspective on like, whoa, wait a minute, this is intense stuff. This is very helpful stuff.
And it also talks about, you know, like in China, the rules of the internet are different as compared to the US. So you need to understand how global, you know, global perspective. You know.
So that's definitely that's free. That's something I have my students look at in the summer. So that might be something you want to include. Hey, you're going to be out. Here's a chapter to read.
Yeah.
Do a little write up on it. The book is getting old, a little old at this point. Old, I forget the exact copyright, but it's still, I think, pretty valuable.
Do you think the book would be too much for a freshman?
No,
I don't think so.
You think it'd be okay for freshmen?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an easy read. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And then like
Digital.
Yeah, the digital. Yeah.
digital free. And free's good. And all of these curriculums are free. Right, there's another free curriculum for CSP. This is also CSP. This is CS50. This is out of Harvard. So it covers all of these languages. These are languages they use.
Oh my.
This is really good. Yeah.
This is really good.
But it's pure programming.
In the comparison to the other, definitely more rigorous. Definitely probably more for a student that is committed to programming, where the others are kind of like an introduction of different things. This one's definitely going to be like more of the nitty gritty. That being said, they are known for their videos.
Yes.
They have short videos throughout their curriculum. So for instance, I use code.org curriculum and then I steal things from all these other curriculums. Right, because they're all free. But yeah, definitely known for their videos, but a more rigorous level for the CSP course. So it's something to consider. So the question always is, which one should I use? You got to think about what is it that you want to do with your students. And then this one's relatively new. This just came out. I don't know too much about this. My partner at the last workshop presented on this one. So CS Matters is in Maryland. Their curriculum's is going to use Python. It's focused on analyzing, processing, and visualizing data.
Right. I mean, this is good for, you know, people who are interested in kind of creating music or some kind of video, graphics using Python. So they're good. But again, it's programming intensive.
I just thought of something that might be a good topic for someone to present on. I'm hearing, I was in some advisory meeting at one of the colleges, and the idea of a student doing a degree or a certificate in user interface development. That's like something new and upcoming. Like these companies are hiring the students to look at the visual side, like the end user.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of coding and programming involved. So I'm just wondering if there's, you know, one of the colleges, maybe somebody out there to just talk to us about what that looks like and possibly what we can use to, you know, teach that or prepare the students for that.
Well, we can take that up with the faculty or from our CSI and see what they've got going on with that. And yeah, let me write that down. So it's
That's
interesting.
important.
That little guy that presented here, he was like something dog. Remember him from the-
Oh, chopped off.
He did talk about you, I didn't know what it was at first. I was thinking,
Yeah, when he was
oh,
talking, I didn't understand what he was saying.
I'm like,
Right.
It was a couple years
The
back.
acronyms, yeah.
It was.
These guys from the,
Mercy, they are wonderful. They have
they
that.
have quite a big curriculum and they have some
Mhm.
certifications, but I don't know what.
Can you hold that up so everybody can see that? They were actually here for our CSK to 8 event.
Yeah.
They spoke and presented to us. They have a wonderful program. So we can take pictures and
Dr. Graham.
add that right to the slideshow.
And we do share all these on our website too.
Yeah, what I can do is I'll send everybody the slideshow after, but all of our slideshows and recordings are up on our website so that if you forget what we talked about or you want to go back to that thing, you know, that thing, John, you know, that thing. Yes. You can go back all the way to our very first meeting.
All right, so there's 5 free curriculums for this AP CSP course. In high school, you also have the Java heavy course. College Board, how many high school teachers teaching CSA in here? Anybody teaching the Java course? No one. All right, so I'll breeze through this. Basically, College Board has a course that's just based on Java. So if you're thinking about introducing this or want to bring it into your classroom, College Board's kind of reorganized everything. They do all their AP stuff online now. So they're kind of creating one spot for everything. Here's some of the new units or the newly organized units. So if you go to the College Board website, you can have access to them. In order to get access to the College Board website, you have to go through the College Board audit process. So if you're not teaching AP Java right now, this is not really something you're going to be able to take a look at, but it does exist if you're bringing that into your school. They give you labs you can work on, practice problems, questions, etc. Breeze through that. CS Awesome is an interactive textbook. So this link is a free link. So if you know any student, any family member, you yourself want to learn a little Java, you can go to this link. It's an interactive link. It covers everything that the AP Computer Science A course covers, which is supposed to be everything that the student would learn in a intro level college course in computer science. It's like interactive textbooks. So they read, they answer multiple choice questions right on the screen. They get feedback. They analyze code right on the screen. They can type in some code right on the screen, and they get feedback the entire time. So that might be something you want to either personally check out, or like I said, if you know a student or a family member, definitely something that helps. Teals, we had Teals speak at one of our meetings a couple years ago. This is with Microsoft. They come in and they set schools up with a tech person or programmer that's in the industry, and that programmer comes into the school and works with the teacher to help with the programming aspect. They recognize that sometimes as teachers, we get computer science thrown upon us or programming. We're like, whoa, what's going on right now? So this is a program that Microsoft started. They use the University of Washington's programming course. There's a link to that. There is a fee for this program.
I think it's like 5,000.
It's like 5,000 a year. But that's the tech setup. And then, like I said, that would mean a mentor coming in once a week. So you're getting an industry professional come in and work with your kids on programming. All right. Some other languages. Carnegie Mellon's gotten heavily involved in CS at the younger levels. So they have their CS Academy. It uses Python programming. It's all visually based or graphics and animations. It's on their website, so it's browser based. You don't have to download anything, worry about anything there. Interactive notes, auto-graded exercise, plagiarism. Here are the 4 things that they're offering. CS1 would be like an intro level Python programming class, catered more towards a high school student.
I do the 0. My kids only when they're done with code.org, the accelerated course, all the kids that have gotten there want to be there. They really like it.
And it's Python for CS0 too?
CS0. I believe it's 20 hours of work. It's a camp. It's really set up to be a camp. But because I keep asking them, and I have a few girls in it, but they really do like it.
Yeah, they just made that available, I think, with like the teacher dashboard.
Yeah, September came out.
So like with their curriculum, you go to their website, the students can follow along. They click on something, they have a little bit to read, some sample code. They answer a checkpoint question, read a little more sample code, and then they get to the actual programming exercises. And then they get like an image. They have to investigate the image and get information by hovering over different points. And then they have to code stuff to replicate that image. It's all done right on the computer. The computer checks it. All that's done for you. As a teacher, you're provided the solution. So when you're like, oh, shoot, I don't know. Let me go check.
No one's asked me yet.
That's
I get those questions. I will say one of the things they do, since it's visual, at least in CS1, they start using gradients. I don't know about you, but like red is red to me, not 4,000 shades of red. And when they're programming, they need to
using
put
the hex
the
codes
right
and everything.
order of the gradients.
Yeah.
So. Just throwing that out there. Sometimes you're like, all right, what colors do you have? Here are the ones you need to use. Because they clearly understand it's a gradient. They're just.
Was there something different about their grid too? Like 0 wasn't where?
0, 0 is always in the top left.
Not in every
corner.
in every
Usually.
one.
Zero scratches in the middle.
Is it really?
It is. So it's
Oh.
different in different
And
programs.
LittleBits are upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0, 0, and here's the top left-hand corner on their image.
I think I remember there was something different about their grid from another grid, and I was like,
And then everybody wants to think that that's quadrant 4 when you think math class, but you're technically increasing Y as you're going down. So a little conversation you might need to have with them.
But it's good lessons though, because when they get jobs.
Not everything's in the same
different. It's
place.
not gonna be in the same place, we gotta adapt.
Yeah.
So you have CS0 for the middle school, so you might want to take a look at, check that out. That's for middle school. This is for the high school. Once again, they're both free. APCS Academy. So they're Carnegie Mellon's going to get into the programming side for the CSP course. So for instance, you go back to the code.org curriculum where I told you the 5 units. They're going to create something, but only for the programming aspect. So you may say, all right, I want to teach computer science principles course, but my students are going to be above the block-based programming. I kind of run into that problem sometimes just because all my middle school teachers are now teaching in our district are teaching programming. So students come in, I'm like, okay, this is too easy, which is an awesome problem to have. But something you could do is like, all right, well, I don't like code.org's programming because it's block-based. I'm going to use CMU's programming piece so my kids can learn Python. But I really like code.org's internet unit, data unit, privacy unit, and you kind of start to mix things up.
That's what I did. You know, with code.org, with the pacing and all, within 4 months they were done. And then they were using the rest of time doing other homework like calculus homework during my class.
oh,
You know, so I introduced Python from somewhere else to kind of add in.
that's awesome.
And then what's the last thing here? Oh, CS2 applications. This is going to go into like how do you use Python and programming in other subjects. That's what the focus of this is going to be. Not like more knowledge of Python, just more of a focus on how can you use in other subjects. What that's going to look like, I'm not really sure.
Is that supposed to be a 4-year course?
I'm not sure about that either. This is really like.
Yeah.
They're not even piloting it yet.
I don't remember Erin.
Yeah, no,
saying
this
much
is
about it.
really, really new because the pilot's not going to start until the fall. Oops. What else we have here? CS Pogo, process-oriented guided inquiry learning. Basically, the way this works is it's a lot of like teamwork and student-driven classroom where everybody in the group gets assigned a role. So you're supposed to have like a secretary, a project manager, a programmer, whatever it might be, and they have to create reports and work through something. The instructor's really not lecturing at any point. They're just kind of facilitating, making sure the groups are on task and everybody's staying in their role, right? And it's kind of just that whole concept of if we have the students engaged and they are driving their learning and it's inquiry-based, they're more likely to understand the material. So Pogo is a process. There are a bunch of concepts within computer science or things you can do that have Pogo curriculums tied to them. If you Google Pogo, you can actually find it for any subject matter. I think there's different lessons. Like I said, I don't use any of these, but you can see a bunch of things and it will say like, here's the assignment, here's the roles, this is what this member should be doing, this member, and the students kind of work through the curriculum or work through that given lesson. And then lastly, Apple's getting involved now in education, which is great. But the only downside is stuff only works on Apple products. So if you have Apple products in your school, this is stuff you can take a look at. They have a computer science principles course as well that uses their programming language Swift. They have an app development curriculum guide that students could explore. So if you have Apple products, what I actually started doing this year is I have one of my independent studies looking at some of these things because they have a MacBook and they bring it in rather than use our school computer, which I don't know why, but I said, all right, why don't you check this stuff out for me, give me some feedback. There's that support for Apple.
We actually have an Apple event on December 13th, where Apple's coming out, and I don't know, actually, Barbara, do you want to speak to this really quick?
Yeah, so it's a free event, and it's 2 separate sessions in the morning, it's like 2.5 to 3 hours. It's a tech update where they're going to talk about the management changes to iOS. Apparently now there's a new iOS for iPads specifically, which they've never done before, and some information that way. In the afternoon, it's all instructional. They're going to be talking about the instructional content creation piece that they're doing. Everyone can create and some green screening activities and different things. They'll have devices here free to use during that event as well.
They have like a whole teacher dashboard too. They have like a teacher program for Apple devices as well.
I use it for a blind student. He uses it with playgrounds, and it's totally accessible for him. With braille sheets.
Yeah, so we saw those.
Yeah, really cool.
But there was something, I think our problem was that, wow, they've got this for Braille, they've got it in Braille, but as a teacher, I couldn't print out a PDF of the lesson plans.
Oh, okay.
So the lesson plans, like, you know how you have to copy, paste into your curriculum sheet? So we did advocate strongly for that, saying, look, we don't want to have to read it and type it, like at least if you can do Braille,
right,
you can give us a PDF of the lesson plan. So we're working with them.
There is you can get downloads, big like bigger text or Braille or maybe I got the big text one, but you can read it with the big text, like for visually impaired, not for blind students.
Yeah.
But the Braille had to get made at a blind school, Perkins School. The blind teacher there sent me all those like the legends, so he would know what he's looking at. Every single screen has a Braille setup, so he knows where it's starting, where the gem is. You know, it's like a gem, and it's really cool. I got 13 lessons, but there's I think there's 40.
Yeah, they have quite a few. Is the 13th on our workshop calendar? I'll send you the information about the 13th. I'll send it to everybody.
Screen reader, so it tells you everything that it's doing.
Joanne definitely wants to send it.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. If you could send some people or from yourself.
Yeah, we missed the board meeting. Our timeline. I just looked at the date.
Oh, no. Okay.
This is not until.
All right. So I just do a ton of curriculum out there.
Yes, you did. It was good, though.
Just poke around, take a look. Free is good. Like I said, definitely helps with staying one day ahead. All right. Let me turn over to Michelle.
So a little bit of action now, since we've all been sitting a little bit. I'm gonna just pass out some kits to you first, and then we'll talk about the program. Okay. LittleBits are these circuits, and I don't yet have their coding kit here. They haven't sent it to me yet. But if everybody could just stand up for a minute, come over and grab a kit. And I would grab a Chromebook too, or a device, because the instructions for assembling your kit, there's 2 different kits here. Okay, color feature. There's 2 activities in each one. Yeah.
Are these like affiliated with LittleBits at all?
Nope, these are LittleBits.
They're totally different.
Completely different.
I met Tony at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So if you could open your box.
Anyone else need a photo?
We need to go a little bit deeper. If you open your box, there's a little card inside the box, and we pre-opened them for you. Please be careful with your boxes if you've got the arcade game, because the box is part of the bill. So that's why we pre-opened them. So there's a little card inside of each of your kits that directs you to the website where the instructions for building your LittleBits are there. I do have, for those of you that really hate screen, I just have like one copy printed out of the crawling creature and one copy printed out of the arcade game. So if there's somebody who despises such as you're out of work, you know, crawling creature. Okay, here's the crawling creature. I have one more crawling creature. So these little bits, they're actually circuits, and you know, each little bit has its own interaction. And the blue modules are power. There's a little place right there. Okay. So the instructions are there. Be careful with that box. And if you need to spread out more, you know, we've got more tables, we can turn the lights on that side.
Is there a password?
Can I just browse? You can just browse as a guest. You're a guest. You can't get the box open?
No, not that. I went on as a guest.
It wasn't connected to the internet?
Yeah, no internet for me either.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just scroll down to the checkbox to accept and
Yeah, the copies.
Yeah, I like that. But it sometimes takes a moment. Well, we still learn that.
If you scroll down, I did this on my phone.
Hold on, Don, I'll be with you in just a second.
You just like iPad it. Like you don't have to like type anything. Hey, look at you.
Yeah.
Click on it, will it just like drag it over?
Yeah, and then they don't.
Now,
No, this is document. There's one thing I can say about this document is that our Wi-Fi is amazing. When I have trouble with things like AR, firewall. Yeah, it's sometimes
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll shut it down. I'll try the other one.
Yeah, let me see if there's another one. Oh, great.
I got it.
Yeah. So those of you who have the arcade one, you're pretty much winding up with something like this at the end. And, you know, this is beautifully decorated. But it's just a simple interaction of putting, you know, a couple of different magnetic bits together, different circuits together. And if you do have this one,
Oh, the slider switch is not there. Where did it? Oh, there it is. I think I just pulled it. So, what students do is they take these, they're giving you like a nice little prototype to deal with, just to see like how it functions. And then your students take the little bits and, you know, they pair them with other things, other materials, and they make like a real pinball machine with like bumpers and everything like that. But all of the lights and everything like that, they all kind of, you know, are magnetically put together. Yeah, I have to work it from the other side. I can't be on this side. But it functions as a pinball machine. And each one of these little arcade games builds 2 different projects. And you want to just kind of scroll past the explanation of what each bit is and just look at what the build looks like. You can scroll back to that later so you can see like what your students are learning along the way about the interactions of the circuits and putting them together. For those of you who have a need of a screwdriver, we have to share some little baby screwdrivers. So if anybody's at a screwdriver stage, let me know. We're going to be passing these up and down the rows.
Are these reusable?
They are reusable. So these particular kits that you've got here, these were developed just for us to kind of like introduce it to teachers and their STEM programs. And they're also like great Christmas presents and things like that, or birthday presents. But the ones, and I have like actual big workshop kits for students. Normally, part of the design is that when you make a design using LittleBits, I have to be able to get the bits off of it. So you have to design your project in a way where I'm able to get the bits off so that I can use them for the next class. So that's kind of like one of those design limitations that we place on you. So so it's very much a Burning Man kind of a thing where you build it, you videotape it, you photograph it, and then you take it apart.
Yeah.
Or you build it so that the structure of it is designed in a way that the bits can come off easily. Okay. So and that's, you know, I've been using them with students for like the last 5 years. And
These, like
LittleBits.
Okay.
And you know, as part of a makerspace or a STEM program, they are the building blocks that every student needs that's not going to be soldering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not allowed to solder in your school yet, this stems that. Yeah, it really does. So anybody who needs a screwdriver, okay?
These are also compatible with Legos. So like my son at home built a remote control out of LittleBits and a motor out of LittleBits and just the motor inside his Lego car. And then remote control drove his Lego car around my kitchen. And I was like, okay, you are a rock star.
Screwdriver. I don't know which of you needs a screwdriver. Somebody's gonna need a screwdriver.
Tommy helped him.
Screwdrivers in the back.
You know, Tommy's taking computer science. Tommy's very capable.
Here's the screwdriver.
I said I got late.
Another screwdriver over here. Screwdriver by you, Abby. Next screwdriver by you. So they have so many different kits out there with just many different interactions. And they have, I'll show you some resources in a couple of minutes. I do want you to have a chance to build a little bit and get hands-on. But they do have lesson plans for pretty much every kit that they've got at different age levels, at different curricular levels as well in terms of like what subject you're teaching. Okay.
have a code kit. I'm gonna show everybody that in just a couple of minutes. I want to have a chance to build. These are some extra parts.
I know, did you get?
These are
I did
parts
miss that.
that
Yeah.
extend the set. So there's all different kinds here. I actually have so these are like motors and fans.
It has like a little mini support, and I can put it through it, and then it'll stand up. Just on the side, a little grabby things.
All kinds of things.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I have it here, but these are not gonna be step by step directions.
It's, you have to, I'm gonna
Like,
go off.
how it works.
Yeah.
Yes, roll down more. Yeah.
Scroll down. If anybody needs help, just sing out. So it's really funny. The first time I touched LittleBits was at our second CSTA meeting, like 5 years ago. Kevin Jarrett brought like a kid, but he didn't really tell us what they were for or what they did. So I shocked myself with the battery and I did not touch them for like a year and a half. And then I said, you know, I got one of the little deluxe kits and I brought it into an after school program at one of the schools that I go to. And the students just like went nuts for it. And then we had to get some more. And we had to get some more. And then it made its way into the curriculum. So, and then we brought it into our makerspace. So my first experience was not a great one. So I feel like this is a better experience. I'm gonna get in on some of that. Probably I can take pictures of it.
Yeah, for the same.
Okay, so these are magic.
I got it.
They can only connect one way. Okay, and the arcade game. So you're going to be mounting them on a board. Okay. Follow the instructions. That's fun, right? It is fun. No hands on. Okay. So LittleBits was nice how we keep these tips for you guys to do, which is phenomenal. So I do have a methodology. You know, I do have like things. They have suitcases. Like there's a lovely suitcase in the back, and I've got more in our makerspace. Just filled with bits, and you know everything goes in its place. So bits management is definitely something that I'm concerned with as an educator because the pieces can be anywhere between $5 and $25 depending on what kind of interaction it does. We have light sensors, pressure switches. We have cloud bits where they can connect IoT. There's a coding set that I'll bring to the CSTA meeting as soon as they send it to me. There's a lot of different kits that they've got and a lot of different kits. So, you know, and something great, they're really good about replacing it. So I feel like they've got great customers.
I had to like flip mine.
Yeah, try to be upside.
Yeah, your pink one's upside down.
Thank you.
Right.
It feels really bad that he's not here today. It feels bad he's not here today. Yeah. There's a screwdriver. Rana's got it. You can pass it down to me.
We have one too.
Yeah, I have one too. Somebody needs one. So when you think
Yep, you are down with that. Anybody else need a screwdriver? Yeah. We definitely get
So they just magnetically snap together only one side. Only one side.
Pink, green, okay?
So you might have to change it around. Sometimes the pink only goes one way.
Oh, there's a switch, there's an on-off switch. Over here. That, yeah, mine was on there.
No, that's right. So you're gonna use the two bigger screws to get your and then the bigger screws.
Is this how you can use the screwdriver?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
You're not there yet, so you'll see it. So I'll show you the one that is the pre-built one.
So that's how it is.
So see this?
So the blue dots attach this.
Yep, the blue dots attach that to the box. I've got two blue dots on there. I know. Look what he did. He did CSTASNJ. Southern New Jersey. Kids on New Jersey. Isn't that cool? My husband did. He came in this afternoon and decorated it for me. I built it and then he did all of that fancy stuff. So the stickers are in your kit too. So both kits that you have, no matter which kit you have, has all sorts of stickers and decorative elements. So that kind of design, you know. I took a bunch. I took a bunch of pictures. That's very cool.
I inherited a ton of little bits in my computer lab. They are missing some pieces.
Yeah.
Like the kits are missing pieces.
So you can order them a la carte, or can you donors choose them?
I don't know. I have to find out if I can go because I want. Have you put? I'm sure you played with the Tinker Cat, the coding or block.
Yes, the make codes. Yes, absolutely. And it's nice to get that 3D printing and the coding in at the same time. Absolutely. Maybe you need to present on that.
I haven't taught it yet. I can't teach.
We'll let you get through the marketing.
Oh, I've been doing a lot with my girl stuff.
Are you stuck? Okay, so this one. So they give you little ties in your kit. Yes, and you might also need shoes. So they give you some shoes, I think. These little shoes that connect your bits at the bottom. For those of you who are not doing like the arcade and you're doing the other one, you can connect your bits at the bottom if they keep coming apart on you with these shoes. They're nothing like Miss America, but they're pretty cool. So like if you have two bits, can I use these as an example? And they keep coming apart, you can put the shoes on.
Show us your shoes.
Show us your shoes. And if you've got the one where they're supposed to come through the other side, you can get the shoe on the other side cardboard. Right? Get the shoe off.
But you're supposed to keep it on this, right?
Yeah, it goes through though. Like let the shoe come through
From the other side.
and then put the shoe on the other side. Okay. So sometimes it works with this one, sometimes it doesn't.
But what I'm saying is I think this screen is supposed to be on that.
I lost my phone somewhere.
That's not it. That's yours.
I don't know. I'm having a lot of trouble recognizing the phone. Different colors.
Can you do this for me?
This screen?
Well, I didn't attach it.
I think it's that way.
So it's not.
You came over here and you
I didn't even notice. That's funny. I didn't even notice it from somebody else.
I made it, I just didn't attach it to a mystery.
Okay. Oh, like it's not right. It's another one.
I mean,
So I did the same thing where I did it show. This one, and then you bend it, so unscrew it. Yes. Oh, look at hers go. Yes. Yes, yes. So this one, I have so much trouble with my student brother. Oh my God. It is itching away. I'll do a little video. So what we discovered was that by, no, that was the question. So the stress, the student. Yeah. So anybody that's trying to do the inchwormy one, we do have a working prototype in the back right now.
Why is mine kind of going clockwise, anti-clockwise?
Okay, because this is a servo motor and it only goes at 180 degrees.
Okay.
I do have DC motors that will do full, you know what I mean, repetition. So it's a servo.
That's perfect, I need one. One of my students is doing with his microwave. He wants to turn it. He needs a servo. He runs his microwave too, so he's trying to test it. He needs a servo that will go up and down. He's gonna attach it to the
Yeah, I don't know if that actually attached to me. We'll have to look and see if we can get it off the bit. The part that would connect to the little bit, okay? I don't know, I feel like we can maybe do that a little bit. I don't know. I feel like you can make that work.
Great. Learning resource for how to build Python and all. Full curriculum.
In here is a white thing.
Yes.
It's that white thing. I put there in there.
Yeah.
And
They have
some there. So I started prototype.
I used it when I and then I take it out of everything because it actually attaches to the bond. So like this.
Oh, so it's okay that it's not here.
So it's okay that it's not on there. So the arcade prototype is up here if anybody wants to look at it.
Oh, the arcade?
The inchy one is in the back. With Megan Bramble, raise your hand, Megan, so they know who you are. Wonderful.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I put mine upside down. I put this little thing upside down.
I know. Okay. So I do want to show you their site really quick and some of their resources. So if everybody could stop their build for 2 seconds, well, more like 2 minutes. I do want to show you what they've got for you as educators. So can I go to the next slide? Okay. So they do have some like mini PD in their educator quick start area. And I'll just click there really quick so you can see it. Under Explore, they have lesson plans based on which kit that you've got. So if you say you've got, you know, an Arcade Hall of Fame starter kit and you're looking for lessons on that, it actually has the lesson plans for you, the duration, how long it's going to take, what grade levels it addresses, what subjects, It fits under a helpful video about the real life interaction, because all of these little bits represent the interactions we see around us every day. So the things that are hidden behind the walls and in our equipment. So they do kind of make that real life connection for you. And they give you the description, the purpose, the NGSS standards, which is fabulous, and a lesson guide. So this is just with the kits that you've got in front of you now. So if you've got the arcade kit, the other project that you can make with the arcade kit is a catapult or a projectile motion. So very cool resources that they have for us. And again, it's under the Explore tab, and you literally just put in like what kit you've got. Like if you have the Pro Library and you're looking for lessons for English language arts, you know, and then you can use a couple more filters and say I need it for 6th and 7th grade, maybe 8th grade. It's going to show you the lessons that work with those Pro kits in those subject areas. So they do have a really rich library of resources for us to use as educators in every subject area. They really try and make this multi-subject. Another thing I want to show you is that they do have a Bitopedia, which is the encyclopedia of every single bit and what it actually does. And this is great if you're teaching a STEM class or you have a maker space, or you know your students are designing stuff. Every single bit, it tells you exactly what it does, how the bit works. And the geeks speak on it. So this is more Rama's territory, right? Okay, because he's always like, he's always.
Now I have to start learning.
So need the accelerometer bit, that's for me. And how the bit works, that's for me. This is for Rama, you know? So it does have multi-levels of understanding. So you can really get deep down into it. And it tells you, you know, like whether or not there's something on there that you can actually change. Because you'll notice some of the bits have tiny little switches on them and they can work in different ways. So they're quite complicated, but they're easy to use. So they have this whole Bitopedia for every single bit that they've got, and just tons of things. We have wonderful music kits and synthesizers. You can do just every kind of interaction that you can think of. Another thing they've got for you is LittleBits Classroom. So, and I think I just showed you that. So, so LittleBits Inventions. So let's talk about the CS aspect of LittleBits. They do have a code kit that some of you might have seen at ISTE. I don't know how many people went to ISTE, but they did have it on display there the last 2 years. And I'll bring it to our meeting as soon as I get into my hot little hands. I'll run it in here. But they have these wonderful inventions that they make with them, with the code bit, power button, LED matrix, speaker, and a mounting board. So there's a little, hey, it's me, Mario. And lots of projects like the Wanderer. So it's a random walker, and the light will randomly walk. There's eye candy. Some of them require code and some of them don't. Undulating waves of music. So here they're using proximity sensors, forks, and splits to split the wires. This one does, you know, there's links to code. You're probably not going to be able to get this code. So the students write the code, but in the lesson plans, it does talk about all of those. You just put in the kits that you've got and it will literally talk you through. So they do have a lot of resources for us. And I put that all in the slideshow for you. I know you're all still building. This is what the code kit looks like. So it's got 16 bits and 25 accessories. And they say that it's for grades 3 and up. And that you would use 1 to 3 students per kit. They've got a code kit app that you can put on your mobile device. And it's mapped to NGSS, CSTA, TXTEX, Florida, CPALMS, New York, NYSD. SED, I know there's another way of saying that. CS for all, which we love. Whoop, whoop. CA, CCSS standards. So this one is $299.95, and like I said, I can't wait to get it. So I'm gonna let Adam tell you a little bit of other stuff about our chapter while you guys continue to build.
All right, so I'm just going to fill in some details about just some things going on, some stuff throughout the state you can play as this is happening. That's fine. Just a couple of things. We did talk about CSTA membership that we're asking all of you to do. There is a CSTA Plus membership where cost is $50, but with it comes extra access to different support from CSTA, whether it's access to resources and things like that you get with the Plus membership. I mean, if you think any website where you got like the regular content, and then if you want more of the good stuff, you pay a little extra. So CSTA is the Plus membership. One of the major purposes that they went to the Plus membership was so that they could start to generate money so that they could provide things like funding and scholarship opportunities for people to attend their national conference and things like that. But in order to make that a reality, they actually need to be bringing money in somehow. So a lot of this stuff winds up going back to members.
She's so excited.
Thank you. So I was listening though.
That's the CSTA Plus membership. You might want to take a look at that. Obviously not required. All right, keeping in touch, here's just a couple links to our website, Facebook, Google Community, Twitter. So we have our CSTASNJ information that's out there. We also have a Google group for CSNJ. So all CS teachers and CSTA members are in the state of New Jersey are part of a Google group. How many of you are part of that Google group, like the statewide Google group? You get emails every now and then?
Yeah.
All right. So you get emails frequently, but I also feel like it's not one of those things where it's going to clog up your mailbox. You're like, oh my goodness, I can't keep track of anything. But that's where people share, like, hey, I found this contest. I found this hackathon. I found this event going on here, this lecture series is going on. You can, I guess the easiest way to join that Google group, it's on our webpage. Is there a link to the Google group on our webpage?
I can literally just put everybody into it. You can always opt out of it.
So we have all your emails?
I have everybody's email that's in here. And if they're not in the Google group, we can do a search and I can stick them in there.
So, all right, then you change for 1 second so we don't put you in a group you don't want to be part of. Is anybody, if you are, you don't have to raise your hand, you can tell us before you get out of here. We will add everybody to that Google group that's not currently part of it, unless you don't want to be part of that Google group. Like I said, you'll get an email, think of it like a listserv kind of forum thing. You probably get maybe 2 emails a day, max. I would say not many more than 2, if that many. Like I said, it's just everything going on throughout the state. What are they doing in the northern chapter, the central chapter, what's going on with legislation, and who's speaking at this college, who's doing this event. So it is kind of neat. Once again, we will add everybody to that group unless we hear otherwise from you before you get out of here today. All right, so CSTA, NJ notes. One of the big things that we've stressed is New Jersey is making great progress in where we're going with computer science education. Right now, there's like 5 states that are leading, and then there's a second group of 5. We're right in the top of the second group of 5. If that makes sense. So we're right, like we're getting really close to jumping up and being one of the leaders in computer science education, our state. So we're right on the fringe.
Who's at the top?
Who's at the top? Anybody know who's at the top? You got 0 chance of guessing it.
No?
It is.
Not California?
It's Arkansas.
Zero.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought Arkansas?
I don't even think of that.
Right? Like, and the reason Arkansas was able to jump up to the leadership position is, I think, who's the governor? Mike Huckabee, politician, ran for something. He was their governor in Arkansas, and his granddaughter did the Hour of Code and loved it so much that he just went ahead and just pushed through all this legislation for their state, and they got ahead of everybody because of it. We're going to talk a little bit about what our governor has done because we have some good news there. But that being said, New Jersey's right on the fringe of jumping up to that top group. And we're also the state where a lot of the work has been done by educators and our CSTA chapters. All right, so we've kind of built this up as a community. So that's an awesome accomplishment by our CSTA organizations. All right, so let's talk about what Governor Murphy just did. There's a lot of words in here. I try to cut it down, but there's just a lot of stuff. Governor Murphy shared his state plan for computer science for all. And here are the 5 components of it: to adopt standards, so computer science standards for all grade levels in the state of New Jersey; implement professional development, so provide the professional development; strengthen the teacher pipeline. There's going to be a license/endorsement pathway for the computer science cert.
Is that high school only?
I think right now it's high school only. Build capacity, partnership, and awareness. So engage with families, educators, higher education, school boards. Figure out how to create these partnerships and promote the state plan, and then make data-driven decisions.
So don't go on yet. For the adopting the standards are going up for public comment in the next couple of weeks. So literally what they've done is they've taken the technology standard, they've pulled the CSTA standard, the CS standards out of it. It's going to be its own area. And so that means the ed tech and the tech ed standards are going to look a little different going forward as well. So if you don't see something in that new area, it might be in one of the other areas. So there was definitely deep conversations related to what belongs in each area. So that, like I said, it is coming out for public comment soon, and you're just the type of people to comment on that. So as soon as we see that it hits, we'll send that out in the Google group. So we're working on it very diligently.
What were the times that like a little inch for making it mandatory?
Well, they're going to give a couple of years because they want people to wrap their heads around it. So the first process is public comment, then it goes back for revision, then they'll release them and they'll give a year or 2, possibly, from what we understood, for people to get used to it, and then it would become mandatory. So, Barbara and I spent some time working on those standards ourselves, so we're very excited to see what everybody's comments are.
So was that concern in regards to the standards, or just a lot of this?
Well, making them mandatory in all grade levels, basically.
So basically the computer science standards that they're going with is going to be something that they feel that every student can actually achieve in their, throughout their K-12 experience.
But you're saying it's not different standards, they're just pulled.
They are going to be different.
Oh, they are.
Okay, so they've looked at the ISTE standards, they've looked at the CSTA standards, they've looked at frameworks throughout the country, and they've crafted new CS standards for New Jersey. And that's what we're going to be looking. So they've done some really deep dives on other frameworks and other people's programs, and so we'll see what they came up with.
Any other questions on any of these key points? The license thing, I know that freaks some teachers out. Teachers are going to be grandfathered in if they are currently teaching computer science within a certain time frame of that becoming a requirement. So you will be grandfathered in if you're a high school teacher teaching computer science within a certain time frame. But a lot of this, they got to kind of wiggle out or come up with all the detail. Like, all right, we're going to do this. What is teaching computer science? Is web design going to count? I don't know.
Like in some states,
is it going to be programming? So a lot of those details are still kind of underwork. But it's pretty awesome that we have a governor that went and made recently a public presentation that he's behind this computer science for all, and here's the plan. All right, in addition to support said plan, we have $200 million in the state budget to support the expansion of computer science education, which is a start, right? There are 3 areas that they're looking to provide this money. The first is in professional learning, computer science grants. Basically what they want to do is they want to create computer science hubs that can provide educators with quality training. So like hubs throughout the state, so probably northern hub, somewhere in the central and somewhere in the south. So they're looking to partner with school district, like looking to work with colleges and school districts for that. So that's going to be a competitive process. And I guess each hub can receive up to $265,000 for professional development. So I know down here we have our IETTC building, so that's helpful with a lot of professional development. But outside of that, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot in this general area. Whereas further north you go, there seems to be more. So that would be interesting opportunity, bring some PD, some more PD down this way.
That's if they consider us the South. You know, the South, that line that moves in New Jersey, everybody thinks.
So yeah, what the South's going to be, what the Central's going to be, what's the North to be determined. Yeah. But they are looking to kind of do that hubs concept. Developing curricular support CTE pathways. So what's it say? Support information technology in schools offering CTE programs. One institution of higher education up to $205,000 to create model curricular programs and studies. One in programming, one in network and cybersecurity. And then provide high school courses, provide opportunities for a larger and more diverse pool of students to participate in advanced computer science courses. So up to 15 or more high schools can apply for a grant up to $66,000 each, roughly. Mm-hmm. Right, so that's for schools that are either launching a computer science program or expanding it. I will say a lot of the focus is on that these programs and these expansions start to include a more diverse group of students. Mm-hmm. That's the big focus. Like, we don't need to push computer science and programming to the student whose parents are computer scientists and programmers. Like, we need to recruit other students, right? Diverse students, students that may not have thought of this pathway, introduce them. So that's a big thing that they're probably going to be looking for when it comes to the grant money for colleges and high schools, I mean. Right, so like I said, we have a plan in place that our governor signed off on and is approved. It's his plan, as well as funding. So they kind of need both. It's kind of nice to see we have a plan and there is some funding to support that plan. All right, so that was just announced, I guess, 2 weeks ago now, relatively recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this week.
A week ago.
All right, just a couple shout outs. Did anybody in here attend the New Jersey Computer Science Summit?
Two of my teachers.
Up at Rutgers on November 1st, we had our NJ Computer Science Summit. So every year, I guess, 4 years now, Rutgers has hosted this event. And it's pretty much just a get-together about where computer science is in the state of New Jersey. There's 50 participants, you can read, 15 colleges, 59 schools. Apple was there, representative from Apple.
150 participants. Yeah. There's definitely more than 50 people.
Yes, that should be 150.
I think that's 150.
Apple was there, Google was there, somebody from Microsoft was there, people from the governor's office were there, DOE was there. So it's kind of neat to see all of the stakeholders in one place, kind of talking about computer science education in our state. So I will say I would advise attending it if you have the opportunity, because it is kind of interesting to see everything that is out there and see all the different stakeholders. The way the day works is there was keynote speakers in the beginning, 3 breakout sessions, and within those breakout sessions you go to like 5 to 6 different things. You choose from a list of 5 to 6, everything from middle school, elementary, up to high school, to what are companies looking for hiring practices, and very informative. And then our other big shout out is Michelle was recognized by ISTE. She was their November featured educator. So basically, I stole this bio right from their website. So she was in her publication, got some recognition for all the work that she does as far as implementing a lot of this technology, STEM education in curriculums, obviously, all these cool gadgets that she finds a way to get her hands on. Now you get to talk about it.
Oh, really? Well, I guess you got a taste of it tonight. So basically, ISTE, we have these wonderful PLMs in ISTE, and we all participate in them, and they just look through and see who they want to feature, I guess. I don't know, Adam. I don't know what you want me to say about this.
And you presented at their big conference?
Oh, I've
Years?
presented for the last like 5 or 6 years. Multiple topics, multiple things. It could be anything. So it's different every year.
That's why they sold.
But yes, we can
You're
go
kind
on.
of a big deal.
No, keep going. Keep going. Next slide.
See, I'm actually just enjoying this because about 2 years ago, I was nominated by everybody else to be the president, and I pretty much showed up for the meeting, and they were like, "Here you go, this is all yours." So Michelle was one of the people in that bunch, so
Yeah, I was.
That was
I definitely was.
that's a little payback right
Thrust
there.
upon him. So we're happy that you serve.
All right, so some PD resources, events. Just listen some things here. CSTASNJ.org is a nice jumping off point. If you haven't bookmarked that website, that'll connect to all the CSTA chapters in the state. It'll tell you about professional development in the state, all that stuff. Just some things that I pulled off from the internet or through things that I have seen. There's going to be a couple PDs conferences. Scratch Day at Teachers College and Columbia University in New York on December 14th. There's the time there. You'll learn how to use Scratch, what you can do with Scratch. General registration, general public opens in early December. So if that's something of interest, that's there. And the CSTA annual conference, the dates for that are July 11th to the 15th. That's going to be in Arlington, Virginia. Keep an eye out. CSTA runs scholarship opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a cost for the conference, but there are scholarship opportunities to attend the conference.
Did I miss it?
You want to be treasurer, right? Okay, so Carmelita, this is your big chance to be treasurer, right? Because they do have a chapter leadership summit prior to the conference, and I've gone at no cost with scholarships every year to that. So that gives you entrance to the conference as well. They also have like 7 other scholarships for first-time attendees of the conference, just so many different ways to get there for free. So we will be, as soon as those announcements come out, we will be talking to you all. So come to Arlington. It's so much fun. I'm actually presenting at this conference. I got the notification about an hour before you came in.
All right, let's go back to the
did
shout
anybody
outs.
else register to present?
No.
Check your emails if you registered.
And it's a good one.
I really
It's a
like
really
it.
good
I found a lot of information.
Great
Yeah.
conference. It's
I remember
smaller.
I have these breakout boxes that I used from when I was there.
I love the breakout boxes.
I just did this computer science. I'm gonna do the coding and rec for Thanksgiving. Kids love them.
Mhm.
I won a grant to get all the locks, and love them. I thought one day we could do them. I got
Oh gosh,
That
you
would be a
must.
good one.
Yes, I'm gonna do it first.
It's been a while
Then
since
we'll
I've done it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Let's keep an eye out for that. And it's close, which is kind of nice. You can actually drive there.
They actually have a roommate board too, so you can like save costs if you and room with other people.
Makerspace Mondays here. These are always popular.
We've got programmable robots. We've got an open makerspace. We've got a makerspace with stop motion animation, electrical engineering, sewable and paper circuits, LittleBits. You've gotten a taste of a full day, and there's tons of bits that you haven't seen here. And microbits. That one will be in this one. And then we've got some CS workshops too, getting started with Google's CS First. Teach Python coding with Carnegie Mellon CS Academy. Create Android apps, MIT App Inventor, and Thunkable. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I don't know what
Never
Thunkable
heard
is.
of Thunkable.
I guess we're gonna find out.
It's an app inventor. Oh yeah.
The
And then-
Girls Who Code Club uses Thunkable. I haven't looked at it, but it's like an option.
Wow. SQL with Google Sheets. Yep. So you got to come to Phil's session. He's
February
super excited
20th.
about it. And Python coding with Ear Sketch, which is music, and it's just phenomenal. So, and Python coding with Ear Sketch, he'll show you both the block-based side and the Python-based side. So.
All right, just some information about Stockton, right? We all are teaching at relatively local schools. I think we're all pretty local. It's always good to share this information with our students, program offerings at Stockton as far as their information systems program and their computer science program.
I do have their curriculum worksheets here, so if it's something you want to take a picture of and bring back to your students if you teach high school and you're thinking about going into any of those fields, they're right up there.
We have our programming competition
Yes, so we're almost halfway full, maybe over, if I check the spreadsheet. So I opened registration today, and I think before the meeting, we were over half the spots were taken. So if your high school is interested in this Java-based programming competition, you're gonna wanna click on the link and register your class before I run out of spots. So I can only take 220 students, that's all I have lab space for.
What is the URL for this?
It's, you just click on the link. It's stockton.edu/CSCom.
Okay, so we can Google Stockton competition.
Absolutely. This is our 5th year, by the way. And this is the one that this is our chapter, we sponsor this. So we're gonna be asking for people to kind of volunteer. Adam has served as a judge for a couple of years, and so has, what's your buddy's name? John, and many of you have done different things with the competition. So besides just sending students. So we're super excited about it. April 8th.
Limiting the number for school just to get,
It is.
We actually, we've seen the different competitions where they only let like 3 or 4 from each school come, and we just don't think that that's inclusive. Well, each school can only send 15 students, period. So you have to do kind of like a program off in your own
So Michelle, if
school
15
district
if 15
to
come,
decide who is coming.
if 15 come, you'll make 3 teams?
5 teams.
Okay.
5 teams.
5 teams.
Teams of 3.
Teams
Teams of 3.
Well, I was thinking 5.
Yeah, 5 teams. So,
All right, just some other things that are coming up. This one's kind of really last minute at this point, but it's just an online kind of like logic problem type thing. So you might want to check out that website, whether you participate in the competition itself, or I actually leave some of these exercises for my students when I'm out. I'm like, okay, my sub's not going to teach them Java. That's probably not going to happen. And they're probably not going to teach themselves Java, but it's just like problem solving logic brain teasers, for lack of a better word, but more difficult. So it kind of makes them work. So it could be something you want to take a look at. The competition runs November 4th to 19th. Obviously, we're kind of towards the tail end of that, but the sample problems are up all year. So you can always use that. Something I often use when kids are like, oh, I've done my program. I'm like, all right, well, you can go do some logic problems.
Do you have to register as a teacher in order to get the sample problems?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I've not registered in the past and had access to the sample problems.
Okay.
All right, and then the other big thing that's going to come up in December is this Girls Go Cyber Start competition. It's for high school girls. I don't know if middle school girls can participate.
I don't think they can.
It's a really awesome activity for the high school girls. It doesn't require any previous cybersecurity knowledge. It's a lot of just problem solving and figuring it out and using an online tool to help yourself out. I've had students participate in the past. None of them have ever taken a cybersecurity class. How do you?
I had a few do it. They liked it. It was kind of hard for like the younger girls because they kind of got frustrated because they felt like they didn't know anything. But I was like, nobody really knows anything. So they like reached out. My girls have done it a few years, and they reached out to me. I don't know if you're going on Friday.
Yes.
That cool. Yeah. So they have like a PD day for the girls for them to like learn how to do the competition and like how can they make it better. And I was really excited that they offered that. So I'm bringing freshmen to like, I told them I'm investing in them so that then they can do the competition for, you know, the next few years, but now they can have some confidence in it because they don't need the background, but I noticed that the ones who don't, they're like, what am I looking at? So I really like it though.
Yeah, so like some of them will be more challenging. Others will be like, here's all this information about this person, hack their password. So like it gets the students thinking like, oh, well, wait, they're talking about that. That's something you might use your password. Let me see. And it gets, oh, maybe I shouldn't use my dog's name in the year I was born as my password. Right. So some of the challenges are like that, like just like puzzle solving. If you're interested, registration's going to start December 2nd. There's like a practice round and then a competition round, and then from the competition round, you can qualify for the national round. You know, our team qualify for national round. All of you are able, if you Google Girls Go Cyber Start and you go to their website, there is like a try it out, see what it's all about. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to put that you're a high school student, so really any student can do it. You don't have to be a girl to do the trial round. Just the competition itself is for females only. But if you Google this, you can go through and do some of the trial activities and maybe get an idea like, all right, this would work for my students or this would work for these students. So if you're concerned about, is this something that would work? Take a look. Like I said, my students got into it and then my problem was getting them to pay attention in class and not do this, which I guess is a nice problem.
Mission patch. It's, I just threw that in there because
I saw this is
the mission patch competition. When you click on it, Joanne, the dates are essentially the same.
Are they?
Yeah, she says they're like the same. So just anybody that you know, she'll get back to you with like the real information if it's something you're interested in. So it's just a mission patch competition. They do this for the space flight program, and it's just something that you know you might be interested in. So they asked me to push it out to anybody that did anything to do with STEM. So
all you have to do is create a small patch. Draw a picture of a patch and put it there.
I think that's it, right? Oh yes. Another link I'll probably be sending you is that we want to hear how you're doing computer science in your classrooms, what you're using, and just share a few stories with us. So if you've got pictures or you've got anecdotal stories that you want to share with us, that link, we definitely want to hear your stories.
Well, obviously, we're probably all doing computer science stuff. That's why you're here to begin with. But if you didn't know, December 9th to the 15th is CS Ed Week. So a lot of different websites and groups will run out different projects or chances to do things on their website, free stuff, kind of just get students introduced to computer science or try something new.
So yeah, if you have any friends that are doing any kind of computer science or at least hour code or week of code or anything like that, just get them to click on that and share their story, because this is how we find each other and we find people that are really good at something so that, you know, we can, it's going to make us all better. Future meetings.
All right, so that kind of wraps up tonight. Our future meetings, just a reminder, we will be in this building.
Do you like the building?
Yeah.
Good. Parking was easy?
Yeah. Close to the door.
Close to the parkway.
Those are the meeting dates. So January 8th, 11th, 13th, 6 o'clock, same meeting time. If you have any preference or ideas or anything you want as far as presentations, please let us know moving forward. Other than that, thanks for coming out on.
The makerspace is open down the hall if anybody wants to peer into it.
Adam, there was this CSTA Honor Society or something being formed, right?
What is that?
Yeah, I gotta look at it.
Honor Society?
Right? There was some.
I thought I heard something about that at the,
High school.
it was at the summit in Vegas.
Right.
At the policy summit.
They
Somebody
mentioned.
was talking about that. Oh, yes, and I know. Please take your kids with you, but not the screwdriver.
And not the
Really need a screwdriver for the Chromebook.
Yeah, so when you
Friday.
I'm not pretty nice.
You're not? No, it's like a struggle to try and get my like junior, senior, even my sophomores, like my one, I did have a senior and she was really good, but she all that stuff, but like they're just not so you're getting
And then my soccer board, well, my soccer board was good in the event with the so if I brought one, I have to bring 20 of them. Or not 20, not 20. Yeah. Thank you so much. What is the parent? Yeah. His mother is, I know. That and he might. So that's why I didn't go to the summit, because they were making fun of me that I had to ride like Friday, so I was like, all right, like I'll just like I got my technology.